So hi there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial video, I will show you how to create a random password generator with the help of React.js. If till now you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. And my Instagram social media links will be provided in the description below. Just go and follow. Okay, so without wasting time, let's jump right into the video. So as you can see over here on my main screen, I'm having the created password generator project. I will be showing you how it's gonna be looking like and how it's gonna work. So for an example, if you're not selected any kind of the checkbox from here, like add uppercase letters, lowercase, numbers or symbols, you can, when you just click on this generate password, it's going to display you an alert that is going to be saying to generate a password, you must select at least one checkbox. That's of course. Okay, so now let me show you the live example. So you can just enter the length of the password that you need to be generated. So for an example, I need the maximum 8 letters to be generated as my password. Should I include the uppercase letters or should I include a lowercase letters? You can just select it out from here. If you select that I need to include the uppercase letters, in your password the uppercase letters will be there included. If you want to include the numbers in your password, you can check this box, and if you need to include symbols in your password, you can just check this box. So I'm just gonna check this both box to generate my random password to use. So now when I do click on this generate password, as you can see the password is generated and the alert is being displayed over here that the password is generated successfully. And here's my password with the numbers, with some of the symbols and the uppercase letters, right? And now if you need to copy it, you can directly select it from here and press Ctrl+C on your keyboard and you can easily copy it. But over here we are having a copy button. When the user clicks over here, the password is successfully copied to the clipboard. And now when I open a new tab and paste it over here, as you can see the password is successfully copied. So this is our password generator application that we are going to be creating in our today's video. So let's start creating it. So alright guys, as you can see, here's my fresh React project, which you can see it over here, which is displaying a text that is password generator with React.js that I am displaying inside a paragraph tag, right? Yes. So let's start creating it. So the first thing that we're going to be doing over here is that we're going to be creating two new files. The first file is going to be named as character.js. Then we're going to create another new file and we're going to be saving it as message.js file. Great. So for creating a random password generator with React.js, we are only going to deal with these three files. First is our main app.js, second is character.js, and the third one is message.js file. So let's work with the message.js file. The first thing that you need to do over here is that create a export default variable, and I'm going to be naming it as copy_success. That equals to, I will be having my message over here that is going to be saying that password successfully copied to clipboard. So why am I creating these alert messages separately in a different file? So it will just make our code look clean, right? So what I did over here is that I created a variable that is copy. If the copy, when the users copy the password, if it is successfully copied, we are going to be displaying this alert, right? So I'm just storing that alert message over here in this variable, which is being exported by default. Same thing I will be doing if the copy is failed. So let me create a variable, naming it as copy underscore fail, and the message that I'm going to be displaying over here is going to be the same thing, but we're going to be having the error alert. Okay, so password successfully copied to clipboard. Simple guys, and that's it for your message.js file. What we have done over here in this file is that we are storing the alert for copy functionality, right? So now let's come to the character.js file. This file is going to be including the code for our options, that whether the user needs numbers in the password, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, or special characters, right? So that code will be included over here in this character.js file. So create a variable that will be exported by default for all of these options. So the first one is going to be the numbers. If the user selects this, we are going to be including number between 1 to 9 in our password. Great. And now let me create second variable that is going to be for uppercase letters, that equals to, I will be having all the letters from A to Z in uppercase. Then I will be creating a variable for lowercase letters, and it will be included over here. And now I'll be creating a variable which will be for special characters. Alright, and now I'm having their values, so I'm just directly gonna copy their values and paste it over here for keeping the time short. So let me just paste it for uppercase letters. Then I'm having for the lowercase from A to Z. Let me paste it over here. It is really easy, guys, so but I have already prepared the project, so it will be really good to copy and paste it directly. So let me just paste it over here, and that's it. So the special characters will be including this, like these symbols, okay, that is known as symbols. And now that's it for this character.js file. We have completed our message.js file and the character.js file. So now let's work with the front end and the functionality that we're going to be using in our application, right? So now we need to import use state hook from React, the first thing. Cool. Now we are going to be importing the numbers from our files that we have created of character.js. We will be importing the React notification that we will be using an animated notification over here. So I have installed a package that is called React Toastify. The link will be provided in the description below. Just go over there and there will be a command for installing the package in your React application. Just copy and paste it, and then you will be all set for using the React Toastify notification. So let me just import all of these statements. So I will just keep it short. What I'm going to do over here is that I'm just going to copy it from my code that I have already created, and I'm going to be pasting it over here. So I'm importing the numbers, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, and the special characters from my character.js file, as you can see over here. Then I'm importing this toast and the toast container from the React Toastify. This is used for our React notification. And for the animation, we are using the React Toastify.css. You just need to copy these files and paste it in your React project. That's it for using it. And then we are importing our copy fail and our copy sucks variable from our message. Great. So now let's work. So first of all, what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to create all of the state values that we will be using over here. So the first state value that we are going to be using is going to be for password, and we are going to be setting our password that equals to, we'll be having the use state hook, and it will be set up as an empty string. Okay, this is going to be for our password. Now let's create a state variable for our password length. Set password length that equals to use state hook. By default, I will be setting it to 26. You can just go with any number you like to generate the password by default. The third state value is going to be for including the uppercase letter or not, right? So include uppercase, comma, set include uppercase that equals to, by default I will be just keeping it as false because the user have not selected anything yet, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna copy and paste it 3 times more, and over here I will change this to include lowercase. Set include lowercase, and the next one is going to be for including the numbers. And over here we're going to be setting up the include numbers. Okay, so all of these values are false by default. The last one is for including these symbols, and over here we're just gonna set our include symbols. Alright guys, so now we are all set up with our state values. Now let's work with the front end, and after working with the front end we will be working on the functionality. So as you can see, over here is my return statement where my front end is gonna be going. So I'm just going to be removing this header, and I'm going to keep a simple div which is having a class name of app. Now let me create a div. Let me provide it a class name that is going to be container. In this container we are going to be having another div which is going to be having a class name of generator. And now in this generator div I'll be having a h2 tag which is going to be having a class name that is going to be generator underscore underscore header, and I'll provide a heading that is going to be password generator. Okay, now we will be having the options for generating our password over here. So let me just keep it over here, that generate password as a comment over here, so it will be really easy for you all guys to understand what code is written for what. So for an example, if I provide you source code, of course I'm going to be providing it to you, then it will be really easy to identify. So let me just remove it for now. At the end of our code I will be applying it. So now let me just save it, and let me just refresh my application, and I should see password generator text being displayed over here. So let's see, it's gonna take some time to reload. Just wait for a while. Let me just check my terminal whether my server is running. Yes, it is being running over here. Let's see. So it's taking some time. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to press cross and refresh it once again. Let me just open my terminal, and why it's taking this much time, let me just stop my server and run it back. Alright guys, so now as you can see, the password generator heading is being displayed over here, right guys? Yes, so that means we are all set. So now I'm just gonna provide some space so it will be really easy to see what I'm going with now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do over here is that I'm going to create a div to which I'm going to provide it a class name that is going to be form-group, because we are going to be having these selecting options over here. Let me close this div. So in this div, the first thing that I will be providing is going to be the labels and their inputs. Label is going to be having an HTML4 over here. Okay, and HTML4 is going to be taking the labels text that is going to be password hyphen its strength. Okay, and the label will be displaying password length over here. And now I'm just gonna close this label, and after this label I will be having an input which is going to be having a class name over here for styling it in our CSS file, that is going to be pw, and I'm going to be passing it a default value that is going to be passwords length. That means my state variable that I have created. On the change of it, I'm going to be firing an event, and I'm going to set my password length to that event's target value that the user have entered in it, right? So guys, it is really that simple. It's not that tough as you think. Okay, so now after the on change, we're going to provide it a type that is going to be number. After that, I'm going to provide it ID that is going to be password hyphen strength, and now let me provide it a maximum numbers the user can go with is going to be 26, and the minimum is going to be the 8. Less than 8 we are not going to be generating the password because it is not accepted in any kind of a website or application for the security purpose. So now let me save it. When I do save it, as you can see, it is displaying me password length with the input where I cannot increase more than 26 and I can't decrease more than 8. That's the maximum and the minimum values, right? So now we are done with our first div from group. Now we're going to be creating another one that is going to be for check options whether the user wants the uppercase letters included in their password or not, right? So it is going to be really simple. We are going to be doing the same thing. So what I'm going to do over here is that to make the video clear, I'm just going to copy it from here and then I will be pasting it over here. That's it. Now let me save it, and as you can see, we are having the labels with this checkbox where the user can check and uncheck. So I'll explain you what happened. I created a same div with the label of uppercase letters, which is displaying that you need to add the uppercase letters or not. And we are saying the input, if it is we wanted to display it checked by default or not, that depends on our include uppercase state variable. On change of it, I'm going to set my include uppercase to the target of the value that is fired by the user. The type is going to be checkbox and we have provided it an ID and its name. That's it. We have done for all of our add lowercase letters, include numbers and include symbols form group. Now let's create a button, so when the user clicks on that button, we will be generating the password. So create a button. I'm going to provide it a class name that is going to be generator underscore button, and I will display in a button that is going to be for generate a password. That's going to be the text that I will be displaying in my button. Let me save it, and as you can see, the button is being displayed over here, right? So after that, I'll be having my toast container for displaying the notifications. So after my button ends, I'll be pasting this container over here, which is having some of its styling that will be provided in the link in the description below. Just go to the link that is official's npm.js package website, where you will be getting the whole documentation for the installation, how to use it, how to change their stylings in it. So it will be really easy for you all guys to get to that. Okay, so I'm not going to be explaining you what is happening over here in this video. I'll create a separate video on the React Toastify notifications soon. So now when I do save it, as you can see, this is our application's front end. So let's add some stylings to it. So I'm having my CSS file over here. I'm just directly going to be copying it and pasting it over here. So let me come to the app CSS. Let me copy it over here and let me open my app.css file and select the whole code and paste it over here. Let me save it, and boom guys, as you can see over here, this is our password generator application, which looks really beautiful. We are having our text, we are having some borders, input, checkbox, and the generate password button. Great, so we are all set with that, but we are missing something guys. We are missing something. We are missing something. Let's see what's that. Let me scroll to the top, and after my password generator, we need to create a div in which we will be displaying the password, right? Of course, we missed that. So let's create a div over here, which is going to be having a class name that is going to be generator underscore password. In this div, the first thing that I will be displaying is going to be the h3 tag that is going to display password to us. And after this heading, I'll be having a button for copying the password. So remember that I don't want to display the password text. I need to display the password that is generated. So it is the password state variable. So here's the button for copying it, which is going to be having a class name that is going to be copy double underscore button. Now in this button I'll be having a font awesome icon, so I'll be using the I, which is going to be having on click statement, but I'm not going to be adding it now. I'll be having a simple class name that is going to be far hyphen clipboard. And now let me just close my font awesome I tag. Now when I do save it, and as you can see over here, I am having this beautiful and amazing box being displayed over here, that is our generator password div, in which I will be displaying the h3 tag, which is going to display as a password. So for an example, if I do copy paste it once more and remove these curly braces, you should see over here the password text being displayed. This is where our main password will be generated, right? So now let me just cut it. That was just for an example purpose. Great, so we are all set over here, but as you can see over here, our font awesome icon is not being displayed. So let's see why it is not being displayed. What I'm going to do over here is that let me see what's to do over here. Let me just open my index.html file over here, and I'm having a font awesome link. I'm just going to be copying that and will be pasting it in my public index.html file after this link. That's it. Let me save it out, and as you can see, my copy clipboard button is being displayed over here. That's it. We are all set with that. Great. So now let's work with the functionality. So what I'm going to do over here is that when the user clicks on this copy clipboard button, I'm going to be calling a function. So on click of this button, right? So on click, I'm going to be calling a function that is going to be handle copy password. Simple. And on click of our generate password button, we are going to be calling a function that is going to be handling our generate password. So on click, we are going to say them to call a function that is going to be handle generate password function. That's it. Let me save it, and now they are showing an error that is handle copy password, and these functions are not defined. So let's define these functions. We're just going to work on it step by step, so it will be really easy for you all guys to understand the code, what is happening. So the first thing that I'm going to do over here is that I'm just going to close my return, so it will make my code look smaller and easy to understand. So after all of my state values, I'm going to be creating the functions over here, or you can even call it as components. So the first one is going to be for handling generate password. Second one, I will be creating it for creating our password. Third one, I'll be creating it for copying it to our clipboard. Let me create the fourth one, that is going to be for notification. And the fifth and the last one is going to be for handling the copy password functionality. That's it. So we will be starting it from the notification. Okay. So in the notification, what we're going to do over here is that we're going to be passing over here some of the parameters. The first one is going to be the message parameter, and the second one is going to be has error variable that I'm going to be creating in my parameter, and I'm going to set it to false. All right. And I'm going to say if my has error is true, I will show a toast notification. If it is false, I will show another notification over here. So I'm having those notifications over here. If the has error is true, if there's an error, I will display a notification of an error, and we are going to be displaying the message over here. That will be coming from our message.js file, whether the copy is failed or if it is success. So here's my another notification that I will be pasting it in my else statement, and that's it. Now we are all set with our notification function. Now let's work on handling the copy clipboard functionality. So in this function, it is not going to take any kind of a parameters. We're gonna say if my password is triple equals to null. If there's no password generated and the user is clicking on the copy button to copy the password, we're going to be displaying an error message. So we'll be using our notify method over here, and we're just going to call our copy fail variable, and I'm going to set it to true. Okay, ending it with the semicolon. Else I will say them if the password is generated and the user is clicking on the copy button, I will be saying them to call this function, that is copy to clipboard, and I'm gonna pass them a password that I got, and then I'm going to notify them that it is successfully copied. It is simple. Alright guys, so now we are all set with our handle copy password functionality. Now let's work on the copy to clipboard functionality. That means when the user clicks on the button, if it is there, we are calling this function to which we are passing a value of password. Now let's come to this copy to clipboard function, and now it's going to take a parameter of password that we are getting it from our handle copy password function, and then we're going to be using a navigator over here dot, we'll be having a clipboard dot, and we're going to be writing a text over here that is going to be password. That's it for copying the password or anything you like in your application. And now we are all set with copy functionality, notification functionality. Now let's work on creating the password functionality, and then we are going to be generating it, right? So this is the most important part. So now I will be taking a character list over here. Okay, that is the parameter. So now I'm going to create a variable of password that is going to be empty for now by default. Now let me create a variable that is going to be the character list length, that equals to our character list's length. Don't worry if you're not understanding. After finishing it, I'll be explaining you how the password is being generated, right? So now let's use the for loop over here. Let me create a let I that equals to 0. Then I'm going to be selecting my I. If it is less than my password length, I will be incrementing I by 1. Now I'll be creating a variable in this for loop that is going to be named as character index that equals to, we'll be using the math dot round method over here, in which we're going to be passing the math dot random method because the password will be generated randomly, and I'll be multiplying it by our character list length. And now let me select my password variable and set it to the password plus my character list dot its character at, that is taking a character index in it. That's it guys, we are all set, and after that I'm going to be returning my password. Alright, so now let's work on handling the generated password. We are going to be handling our generated password. This is just for the validation for our password generator. So what we are going to do is that we're going to say if not include uppercase. If it's not including the uppercase and it is not including lowercase, it's not including numbers, and it's not including symbols, I'll be notifying the users an alert. So I'm going to copy it from there and paste it here. Okay, if these are not there selected, I'm going to notify the user that is going to be to generate password you must select at least one checkbox, and then I'm going to set this to true. So my notifications will be displayed over here. And else if it is selected, we are just going to do our functionality work. So I'm going to create a character list now over here. And I'm going to be setting it to an empty string. After that, I'll be saying over here if else statement. If my include numbers is true, if the user is selected that include numbers, I'm gonna set my character list to the character list plus the numbers. Let me just name it correctly, character list. Great. So we are all set. Same thing we're going to be doing with our include, uppercase, and much more. So let me paste it over here. I'm saying if it's include now uppercase is true, I'm going to select my character list and I'm going to set it to the uppercase letters, the state variable that I have created, right? Same thing I'm doing with include lowercase and include symbols. Now after doing this, we are going to be setting the password. After doing this, I'm going to set my password that is going to take this create password function in it, and there I'm going to pass my character list. After that, I'm going to notify the user that password is generated successfully. Great. And now I'm just going to set it to false. That's it guys for our application, but as you can see we're getting an error over here, so I'm just going to set it to character. Still there's an error, so let's see where is this error occurred. It's over here, character. Still on app.js line number 43, over here there's one more in line number 43, character index. So now where is this error? Oh, it's over here on line number 42. Boom guys. So as you can see, the error is fixed now. Now let me explain you how the random password is being generated. So first let's create this function that is going to be handling to generate our password. We are adding some of the validations, like if there's no option checkbox selected, I'm going to notify the user that please select at least one checkbox to generate a random password. If it is selected, I'm going to create a variable of character list which is going to be set up to an empty string. And I'm gonna say if my include numbers is true, if the user is including the number, if it is true, I'm going to set my character list to the uppercase letters, the state variable that I have created, right? Then I'm setting my password, that is my password state variable. I'm setting it to a create password function. In that I'm passing a character list variable to it that is going to be handling of my create password functionality, and then I'm going to be notifying the user that the password is generated successfully. So now let's create a password and insert it in our password state value. So I created a password variable over here which is an empty string. I created a variable of character list length, okay, that equal to, I'm selecting my character list and its length, because we are going to be checking the length that you user have entered in our input, okay. And I'm saying for loop, if it is 0, if my I is less than our password length, then I'm going to be incrementing it by 1. I created a variable of character index in which I'm using the round and the random method, and it is being multiplied from our characters list length. Then I selected my password variable and set up to its character list dot, I'm converting its character to the character index that I've created over here, and that is going to be storing the password that is generated randomly to our password variable. And then I'm going to return this password, and then my state variable of password will be set up to a random password string. That's it. So let's check whether this functionality is working fine or not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh it, and now let's test it out. I'll be selecting 8 characters, so let me go with 9. Let me include uppercase and just uppercase, simple. Let me click on generate password. As you can see, the password is generated successfully, right? Of course. And how much text is included? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9, because I have selected 9 text to be included in my password. For an example, if I say them to include the symbols and click on generate password, as you can see, the symbols are included in my password that is being generated randomly. So this is how to create a password generator application with React.js in few times. So if you like the tutorial video, please do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. And suggest a video down below in the comment section to create next. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next video.